Everything about this makes me and Alison happy.
I know. I saw your faces when I walked in, and seeing your faces happy made me happy. And I think when you see how easy it is to put together and how easy it is to make this colourful array of food for your own families or friends or whatever it is, hopefully it'll make you even happier.
Should we just get started
you get
while
stuck
you do your
in
thing?
and I'll just
this
keep
is your
chatting.
show now.
Brilliant.
Take it away.
Please,
right. Think much for the next 7 minutes.
Brilliant. So I'll chat my way through the whole time. Right, start with a marinade, and you can see, obviously, the colour of that lovely chicken that you're slicing into there, Alison. It's because it's been marinated. And when I marinade chicken, I like to use yoghurt. It really tenderises the meat. If I'm making lamb chops or something, I'll use milk. But for chicken, I like to use a nice, thick yoghurt. I've also got here Dr Biber saltçası. Can you say that for me? I feel like I need to get you saying that.
Unfortunately, I can't say it.
You can. Come on. I heard you speak French a minute ago. All right, Dermot, you do it then. Dr Biber saltçası. Nailed it.
That is correct.
Nailed it. So this is Turkish sweet red pepper paste. Now, you can get it in most supermarkets now, because you'll find that supermarkets will have like that world food section, and you can get those Turkish ingredients. If you really struggle, tomato puree is fine. It just won't have the lovely sweet depth of flavour that you get from the Turkish sweet red pepper paste. And it's the sweet one I use, not the acı, which is the hot one.
Yeah.
We've also got in there some pul biber, those lovely pul biber flakes. When I've been on in the past, these are Turkish red pepper flakes or Aleppo pepper flakes. You can use either or, they're pretty much the same. And again, they're just more subtle in flavour than, say, just your regular chilli flake. They're tangy, they're smoky, they're ever so slightly sweeter spiced. I've got
like
some...
a chipotle kind of thing.
No, even that, the heat on that, it's because it's not that kind of smokiness. It's kind of got a tang. It's almost tart rather than kind of, yeah, that spice.
So it's not too spicy.
No, but chuck more in. If you want it spicier, add a little bit more. If you want it sweeter, you don't have to add so much. I've got onion granules and garlic granules rather than... Oh, these are stuck. Rather than actual onions and garlic going in there. Again, sweetness rather than the actual kind of pungency of actual fresh and garlic and onions. I've got cinnamon, which in Turkish Cypriot cuisine and Cypriot cuisine as a whole, we use in sweet dishes and savoury dishes. I've got cumin, which is nice and earthy and balances out the sweetness of the cinnamon. I've got paprika also in there. I like a bit of paprika and all the dry ingredients, and that culminates with some lovely dried oregano. With chicken, again, in kind of Cypriot kebab dishes and things like that, oregano is just gorgeous. So stir that all up, and then what I've also got going in is some slightly wetter ingredients. So I've got some olive oil, and that goes into
Really, it's all about the marinade. This.
All about the marinade. I've got one of my favourite ingredients, nar ekşisi, or pomegranate molasses. And you can see that is much darker in colour than regular pomegranate seeds. You know, fresh pomegranate seeds, lovely, pink, vibrant, red almost.
Yeah.
This has been really concentrated down, and it gives a lovely, again, sweet tartness that is balanced out with a little bit more sweetness with some honey.
Oh, my God, what a lovely marinade.
All I will say...
Oh, my goodness.
The marinade's a work of art,
The
isn't it?
marinade is what flavours that chicken, and what you're left, because this is actually roasted in the oven, so I'm going to pop the chicken thighs in there now, and these are boneless, skinless chicken thigh fillets. So just mix that all up like so.
Meliz, we were talking earlier on, like, because everyone sort of just goes with breasts, but thighs are such a great, and they're quite cheap.
They are, yeah, so much more succulent. They're flavoursome. The dark meat you will find. Often it's the cheapest cuts of meat, especially in Cyprus. You know, people aren't rich and, you know, they will use meat, they will cook it slowly in a way that not only feeds the whole family once, but you might then use the rest of, you know, the cut. If you do bone them, you'll use the bones to make a stock or some kind of broth.
We can get boneless in most supermarkets.
Absolutely. So it's, for me, it's preferable, especially for this dish. So give that all a lovely mix, all together like so. And then that just gets covered and popped into the fridge for a minimum of 4 hours, or overnight, ideally. You won't really need to marinate it longer than overnight. So if you're, you know, you're entertaining friends and you've got people coming over and you don't want to be left doing it all on the day, this is, look at that lovely colour. I mean, you can just... That's a great marinade. You just know. I mean, you can see the finished result. So that then just goes into the fridge, and what I just want to show you here is how we then skewer it up. And this is the beauty of it. This is why it's the tavuk döner, almost like that kind of doner kebab on a skewer rather than just individuals. And you skewer on a thigh fillet at a time. Don't try and shove all of them on at once, otherwise they'll just end up everywhere. So literally, each skewer goes into a thigh fillet like that. And then I've got here a tray It's got 2 onion halves, which will soak up the flavour of the marinade while it cooks, but it's also to keep that doner
that's a good
balance.
idea.
So hang on, so each thigh goes through 3 skewers?
4.
4,
Yeah,
okay.
4 skewers. I'm just going to wash my hands. Obviously, when you're working with chicken as well, just make sure you're being very careful. And then this just goes in the oven and it gets turned around.
Well, Meliz, what does the onion do?
The onion,
Yeah.
can you see it balancing?
Yeah.
On the onions there. It just prevents
Keeps
the
it in the
kebab
air.
from sinking in, holds it up, and also those onion flavour,
Oh,
the marinade.
yeah.
They're delicious. So that goes in, and then you baste it halfway through. And I'm going to just take one that I made earlier here, and you can see all those delicious juices.
I can really taste it, how sweet the meat is. It's
Can
so
you see
sweet
that?
and beautiful.
You can see that in the marinade and all those
look at that
amazing
juice there.
juices.
Now as well.
So it needs flipping halfway through, and I'm just going to rest it on this board because I want to show you how I carve it as well in a minute. Look at that.
Meliz, how long do you cook that for?
So it's about 25 minutes on one side, then you flip it over and you do it again and you baste it with all those juices that are resting in there, and you can pour that over
Juices
just
are lovely.
before you serve it. It makes it even more delicious. And as you can see, I've got all these lovely things here. I've got some Cyprus potato chips because Cyprus potatoes are buttery and waxy and rich and
Lovely.
delicious. You can fry them, roast
They're
them, bake
proper
them.
holiday chips.
Proper holiday, exactly. And they're fried,
Totally.
fried. And preferably in olive oil. I've got a red cabbage pickle, and I know yesterday Phil Vickery did a red onion pickle
Yeah.
with some red wine vinegar. And essentially, it's the same concept here. So just some red cabbage, some red wine vinegar. I've got a little bit of water as well, and some sugar. You can add a pinch of salt if you like, and just leave that in the fridge. Again,
So
if you
good.
can do that overnight, it's even better because then it soaks it all up. Give it all a stir. And what I really want to show you is carving into this delicious doner
You're such
here.
a good cook, honestly. I've really enjoyed this.
Oh, I'm so pleased.
I've
I
absolutely
was
smashed it.
so excited to cook for
I'm a bit
both
full
of
up
you.
now, to be honest
no,
with you.
come on,
Yeah.
you've got to keep going.
All right, then.
You've got to keep going. And the beauty as well is that we eat with our eyes, don't we? So
really do.
feasting everything onto a platter like this, popping a little bit of pulled bread flakes over the top there because it just makes it look even prettier.
That's lovely.
And we've
And I
got-
love how you've carved it, because that's the kind of classic, like, doner kebab kind of style,
Exactly.
isn't it?
Stuff it into the pitta.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. It's better than actually going out and buying a doner kebab. Just do that.
Oh, honestly, when my kids see this coming to the table,
Do they? Get excited?
whoop for joy, a little bit like you whooped for joy when you walked in and saw it
It's
on the
when, you,
photo.
when you eat a good doner kebab, you know, when you go to a place that's, you know that the meat looks lovely. Is that all thigh meat then, for the most
For
part?
chicken, well, you rarely see it with chicken. It's normally with lamb.
That's true,
And
yeah.
again, it won't be with the most leanest parts of the lamb. It'll
Yeah,
always
it
be
needs
the
the
kind
fat, doesn't it?
Exactly,
Yeah.
absolutely needs fat. That's what makes it delicious and succulent. So
We know what's
awesome.
going into this as well. We know what's going into
you've
it.
made it at home.
Oh,
you've made your own
Meliz.
marinade.
this
so...
is
Shukran, you legend.
Ah, I'm so
Shukran.
pleased you enjoyed it.
Shukran,
Thank you.
jazilan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the details of today's recipe and more delicious ideas from the This Morning chefs, just head to the This Morning app.